Dear sisters, my name is John and my wife's name is Ebony. We have been married for 30 years with 2 children, a lady 25 years and a man 29 years. They are both graduates whose school fees and hostel fees I paid, as well as giving them regular monthly allowances. I did all this because I was then working and earned a good salary. I bought a land somewhere at Winneba and built it to the top without roofing. But unfortunately, I lost my job, and so my wife requested to complete the house, which she did. And since then, she has taken ownership of the house. She rented the building out and never even allowed me to know what was going on in the place. I had to close my eyes and give the house to her and built another house somewhere in Accra, where we lived since 2008 till 2019, when I got another job outside Ghana and had to travel. Last year, my wife left the house in Accra without my permission. She has gone to rent a place close to her office and paid rent. Now she refused to pick my calls, and she has also assisted the children to travel outside, but to a different country from where I am. I was able to send her some money, about 50,000 Ghana cedis, for the traveling of the children. Recently, she called me for monthly assistance because due to her office is struggling to pay salaries. I've advised her to join me, but she refused and rather pleaded that I should be sending her monthly allowances, which I am not ready for. Currently, she doesn't answer my calls. I don't really know what is happening to her and the marriage. My daughter is not answering my calls too. I don't know what to do. I have sent her text messages, and I've also sent my wife messages to ask for her forgiveness in case I have offended her. But all this while, she pretended like nothing has happened. She has refused to give me the address of where she has packed into, and I know it's somewhere in Adenta here in Accra. I plan on coming to Ghana to spend Christmas with her, but she's not answering my calls for me to let out my plans. Thanks for sharing your thoughts in advance. Please help me. I mean, his full name is here, but we're not going to disclose that. So this is the letter we have today. Rosie, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts. First, let me thank him for sending the letter, because most of the time, especially for the gentlemen, it's hard for them to open up and send such very deep, depressing, moments with us, and I want to say thank you to him. However, I wish I knew how they got married, or what was the underlying cause, because what is screaming at me, the first thing that screamed at me was that the woman probably felt pressured into getting married. The woman probably felt pressured into getting married, or either that, or she married for the wrong reasons, probably to get married, have a child, have children. But the man is not somebody that she really planned on spending her whole life with. So once the man became quote unquote irrelevant, she decided to move on with her life and even move out of the house, and would rather go and stay in a rented place. Now, what could account for this? Assuming she actually wanted to get married, maybe during the life of the marriage, the man was probably a bully, probably narcissistic. The reason why I'm saying that is that his choice of words for 2 things. She left the house without my permission. And the second one was when he said she is planning on coming to town. He's made plans to come to town and come and spend with her. It was almost as if he expected her to fit into his plans. Yeah. Now, with those 2 statements, I'm thinking that maybe the beginning of the relationship was such that because he was a breadwinner, he was dictating the pace of everything, telling the woman what to do at every point in time. So the moment the muscle that he had to dictate what he should dictate as a man came into play, was taken away from him, the woman now suddenly got the upper hand, completed the house, and now it's like, look, now you are no more relevant. So I'm building the house, I'm taking it over. Yes, we've built a new house. Yes, we are staying in there, but I don't want to stay here with you. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm moving on. Because I feel like most of the women, especially those in our mother's generations, most of them stayed in marriages just because they needed to stay in for the kids and have the kids grow up because the men were the breadwinners. But as soon as they realized that they could actually leave and it wouldn't affect the children, they left. And I'm believing this more so because why is the daughter also not picking his calls? That is also something that's baffling me. Now, that being said, nobody deserves that kind of treatment. I think people should enter marriage for the right reasons. Once you have entered, you have entered. And I think that this kind of attitude where you get up, you think you can do anything on your own anyhow, you are not only disrespecting your partner, but you are disrespecting the very institution that you actually got into. And if you are religious, that means you're actually disrespecting God, in front of which you went to stand to make this kind of commitment to your other partner. So those are my immediate thoughts. There are several other things I would like to draw, but Olivia is here. The love doctor himself is here. I wouldn't want to take the wind out of their sail, but bottom line, I think that the woman was probably feeling suffocated and along the line decided to check out.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. What should I call me?
Well, you're a very intelligent woman.
Thank you.
I mean, your brain went to places I didn't even think of. But I would also want to look at the opposite of what you just said. Maybe the woman saw the telltale signs that he was intimidating. But because the society needs a woman at a certain age to be married,
yes,
to have children, she intentionally succumbed, got her children, got their house, and now she says, get out.
Bye-bye.
You know, so maybe that's another option. The thing about the message that sort of messes with my mind a little bit is when he said that now because of the wife, people in her working place are not getting paid. How did she know? How did he know?
He said the woman said, you know, we are no more getting paid like how we used to get paid. So please support me.
Because of a mistake of the wives. You can, if you can find to read that particular part again.
Okay.
I'm reading it to buttress your point.
Okay.
To say maybe it's not a maybe. Read it.
All right. She said, recently she called me for monthly assistance because due to her office is struggling to pay salaries due to her.
So he is pointing fingers. He is blaming the woman for all the problems. And even going beyond finding out what have I done to my daughter for her not to pick my calls, because apparently the daughter is educated, old enough to be able to have a conversation.
But his own
blaming it on the wife, and then blaming the breakdown of the wife's occupation also on the wife. So I think that I agree with you that maybe he has not treated the wife with butterfingers. But with that said, I think it is also very unfortunate that the wife would treat him like that.
Okay.
Because if you are in a relationship and you are tired of it, you are bored, or the relationship no longer serves a certain societal, economic, traditional, religious purpose, you have to get out with grace. You need to call him, pick his call and say, I'm tired. I found a younger guy with a much smaller nose. Therefore, therefore I can no longer do this with you. And for the man, I think that it's beautiful that he's reaching out to us. But I think the Ghanaian society already has mediation processes for marriages already. That's why a marriage is not a relationship between two people. It's a relationship between two families. So if she's not picking your call, if your daughter, you have to reach out to her mother, her uncles, her senior brothers, or the chief, her pastor, someone that she really looks up to, or someone that she respects. For that person to broker a certain mediation program between both of you, so that there can be exchange of, because maybe he's done something. Maybe he's done nothing. Maybe, you know, maybe these are too many, but I think he should take advantage of the societal mediation, you know, strategies that is already in our culture to create communication.
Right, right. But what are your thoughts, Olivia?
I feel like we're missing a certain piece to the entire story. It's only one-sided, and that's his side, and he's seeing things from his perspective. And it's also, so it doesn't quite help us to be able to give a balanced opinion, because now we're all speculating. So they've given views based on where the woman is seeing things from. And now I also want to give my view from where he's also seeing things from. I feel like both of them had serious communication problems from the start. Because for it to climax to this state, I mean, you sat down, you started building the house. At some point, you stopped. Your wife took over. Your wife decided to take the house. You didn't have any problem with it. You decided to build your own house and then sort it out. At which point in time were you going to have like some kind of conversation with your wife to say that the fact that we came together is not my house, your house, it is our house, where the house documentation to say this house doesn't belong to you, it belongs to both of us, or we even want to put, because of tomorrow's sake, I'm going to put the properties that I have in the names of our children. At which point in time were they going to dialogue? It looks like once there's a problem, they're quick to sweep things under the carpet, and everybody is like, okay, like
Life goes
what
on.
the heck? Like life goes on. So they've never actually come together to talk about issues, to solve issues. So first and foremost, like Rosie said, there's some kind of disconnect with regards to whether the woman actually genuinely loved the man, or because so far the guy is the one who sent in his submission. It seems as though he really cares about this woman, because now he's like, okay, fast forward, he did the other house, he's had opportunities to travel. The woman only reaches out to him when she's in trouble, when she's in need. So it's always like, it seems like she's taking. He's giving. And now I want some kind of connection with my daughter, something to do with my daughter. Now he's saying that his wife is so negative to the extent that she's brainwashed their daughter, so he doesn't even have access to his daughter. And he doesn't have access. So the reason why I say there's something is missing is because how come it that in one breath, right, you said she reached out to you, she's looking for help. In another breath, you seem to be ready to want to help her, but she's not available. Now her phones are off, you can't have access to her, you're coming down.
Sorry, let me cut you. She said, okay, I'll probably give you the money, but I want you to come and stay with me in wherever he is. And she said no, she can't do that. I think that's when the whole friction starts, you know.
Exactly. So to buttress what you're saying, okay, now he also wants things to be done on his
own
terms.
way, yeah.
Now then again, it goes back to what I was saying, communication, because they're used to sweeping things under the carpet. Now why do you want to talk about it? Like the woman is used to having things her way. Give me money, you don't want to give me. You already gave her a house without addressing the real problem. Give me money, you don't want to give to me. I think, and I do stand to be corrected, she's been throwing tantrums from day one. She's been having her way from day one. And now it's like, okay, it's almost like the scales are falling off his eyes. He now wants an opportunity to dialogue, and she's thinking, Masa, give me money. Why do I need to talk to you? I'm not going to give you access to your children. Give me money, or like I'm cutting you away from your family.
Right, but why? Okay, let me just ask. Why? What are your thoughts on the woman? Sending the kids far away from where he is?
For me, I honestly don't think that makes sense at all. It just drives me crazy. When two adults are fighting, do your fight away from the children. Sort things out. Don't get the kids involved. Don't let the kids form prejudices about their father who was irresponsible or their mother who was sleeping around. Don't get the kids involved. Solve your problems and make sure that the home is habitable enough for the kids to grow up in. That's my opinion. But I really feel like there's a disconnect somewhere as to how, if he gets the opportunity to finally get a hold of his wife, like Ochami Kwame very well said, find somebody your wife respects. And like you did say, because in a way he's also said that he also told his wife that if he's done anything to upset her, he's sorry. So it's all funny. So if she doesn't want to hear you out, maybe he was narcissistic. Maybe he did something. Maybe she's had enough. We all don't know. But at the end of the day, I believe strongly that you guys need a common platform to sit, dialogue, and trash issues out. If you both think that the marriage is also not good enough for you, you both don't want the marriage, at least come to an amicable conclusion so you both know where you're at, rather than disrespecting your partner and saying, I'm not going to give him an opportunity to talk to me. That's just childish.
Right.
Okay, there was this other angle I also wanted to address. So you know, in the African society we're in, when a man is being prepared for adulthood, especially marriage, they are talking about providing for the home, providing for the home, providing for the home. So men have been indoctrinated to feel like once you're able to provide food for the home, you're able to provide shelter for the home, you're able to clothe your people, it means that you have performed as a man. And then the women were schooled, you are a homemaker. You are the one going to be with the kids, prepare the kids, do all of that. Because the children are grown. And because the children are grown, I don't see how the woman can directly influence the children from communicating with the man, especially if the child is outside, not in Ghana with the mother. She can easily pick the father's call. What I'm thinking is that this man was so macho, such that all he wanted to do was to provide. That is why in his submission, everything he did was building a house, paying money for their school fees, doing this, doing that. So he wasn't emotionally available for the wife, wasn't emotionally available for his family. So what's happening now is that, yes, he's providing, but he doesn't even know how to emotionally connect. And in the midst of provision, look, when you are somebody who is a breadwinner, sometimes little things piss you off. You go and work hard, you come home, and then your wife does something, you just lash out. You work hard, you come home, your daughter comes home with grades that are not, you're like, all this fees I'm paying, see the grades you're coming out with. It's a painful experience. So when you are a man who is being socialized and schooled to be macho, to just be a provider, what happens is that over time, you lose emotional connection with your family. And the moment that provision is no longer needed, your children are in school, they are doing well, they finish school, they are doing well. Your wife is on her own, she's working somewhere. You realize that then there's a clear disconnect. And sometimes you don't even know how to come back. And that statement, in case I have offended you, that means when you offend me and you tell me in case I have offended you, it pisses me off. Especially when there's something you've done that I know that you should know that you have offended me. You come and say, well, in case I've offended you. I feel that it's a rubber stamp statement to make me forget what has happened and for us not to talk about it.
Right.
You understand? So I'm thinking that, look, this man came from a background where he felt providing for a family was purely physical, financial, but being there emotionally, psychologically was lacking. And that dovetails into what Olivia said, that the communication was simply not correct from the word go.
Right.
It was one-sided. So I think that's what the problem is.
Okay, let me actually, Chami, obviously, I wouldn't say I'm not in your house, and I wouldn't say like your relationship is. I don't know what's in your house.
It is perfect.
Thank you. I love that. I love that you say that, because I didn't want to say it looks perfect, and then you go like, okay, no, everything, But at the end of the day, how do you manage, to be in the relationship, family, and you have work, you do so many things. She's talking about, men not being there emotionally and all that, and it's true, because at the end of the day, we've seen it. The generation before ours, we've seen how the men act, and we've seen that as we grow older, we get close. We even get closer to our moms, because you are not like, there's nothing to talk about, daddy. True. Like, you understand? We're just like, hey, some people even call their daddy sir. You understand? Yeah, you understand. And at the end of the day, it's just, when you look at it, it's not that the father was a bad person, but he was just never there. But how do you do it to connect with your children, to still be there for your wife, and still do everything that you have to do?
So for me, I think I've been fortunate. So I was raised, not nurtured. I was raised like livestock, to protect and to find money and to dominate my wife and dominate my family.
Wow.
As prescribed by culture,
and
tradition, religion, education, all the 5, well, how do I even say, agents of socialization, tells a boy to be strong, to be tough. So the same way I grew up in Kumasi at Fantino Town, you know, so same way. But I just became fortunate naturally. I'm so fortunate that I'm in touch with my feminine side.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
So completely. So I am a bit even more feminine than I am masculine. Because of that, inclusion is a part of me. You know, I just describe myself as love.
Yes.
So growing up, I got the opportunity to love my mom. I got the opportunity to see my mom high times in her marriage, low times in her marriage. We cried with her. So I made a conscious decision to be better than my dad. So in the Freud's Oedipus complex, he says that a boy will grow up, observe how his father is treating the mother, fall in love with the mother, and then decide to compete with the father and say, I'll be better than you.
Right.
So that type of complex happened to me. So I always knew that I'm going to marry a woman the same height as my mom, same size, same temperament. So I'm getting a younger version of my mom to take care of me. And I promise she will never cry under my watch. So that is a promise. So because of that, I know it's important for me to make money and drive this one and have ambition, but I taper it down because no matter how big my ambitions are to become president, to win a Grammy, there's nothing more important than coming home early so I can have a conversation with the children, pick them, do homework, touch, you know. So I allow that. Thank you. So I allow that energy to also be fluid. So it's not man, dominate, artist of the year, do that. There's time for that.
Yeah.
So I think that, to be honest, I have found a way, not for my dominant masculine energy to defeat the feminine. I am both masculine and feminine.
No, and for those watching and listening, it's very important for you to know, as a human being, you actually have both sides. You have very masculine side, you have both sides. That's what we really understand. Let's not make it that a man that is more in touch with his maybe feminine side is a weak person. No, we all have it. Like, there are women out there that are strong, and then sometimes you're afraid, hey, that she's acting like a man. That's just a woman that has more of her masculine side. So we all have that in us. Anyway, on that note, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at our second story.